Hello and welcome to another How to Crucible, and today we're going to be looking at Frostmire's Hex. It's an Iron Banner weapon that I was able to get from Lord Saladin. It's actually from Season 2 specifically, so it's not new, but it is, new to this series. And Frostmire's Hex is a scout rifle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats, shall we? So impact is a little bit less than half. This gun does put out a lot less damage than other scout rifles I've used. Yes, 100%. The scout rifle has a lot less damage output per bullet than a lot of the other scout rifles that I've used, but that comes into play with the rounds per minute, which is 260, which is a lot faster than some of the other higher hitting scout rifles. So I do believe it makes up for that problem, specifically. Moving on to range. The range bar that it shows is less than half, but I had a great time actually using this from long range. I don't know why its bar is kind of low, but I did quite good from long range. It was actually quite easy to pick off people from a distance. Stability and handling. Stability is good. Recoil's not too bad. It's not horrible. Handling, it's a scout rifle, so it's not, one of those really speedy, fast submachine gun weapons that you're going to be running around with, but it does what it needs to do, that's for sure. Then with reload speed, average. It's not really crazy. Not crazy fast, not crazy slow. Average. And then we have the rounds per minute 260, and then the magazine 15. Now, the one thing that I thought was not so great with this weapon specifically is the magazine. I didn't enjoy the small magazine size. You don't think it's small because it's 15 bullets for a scout rifle, but because of the fact that this weapon doesn't put out a whole lot of damage per bullet and you shoot them out quite fast, it does not really help to only have 15. I felt like I needed more, and the perk that is underneath of high caliber rounds is extended mag, and that brings it up to 18, but still 18, I feel like I need like a 20 to 25 range bullets coming out of there, because it just felt like I did not have enough to go into two battles at once, so I go into the first battle, I win it, and then there's another battle. It always had to reload. I always had to reload during that second battle, or I was really lucky and I killed a guy, or I was very unlucky and died. But otherwise I really needed to reload again, and that really doesn't help, especially when you're like me and you push every single person you see on the radar. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the perks. So it is a Viced weapon. So the first set of perks that it has is the bores, and you can go through them, see which one you like the best. I don't really care for them. I just picked the one that looks better on the thing, so I picked the top one. And then the next set of perks we have is high caliber rounds and then extended magazine. High caliber rounds does a whole lot more ups on the stats than extended mags does. Extended mags literally only brings up the magazine size, and it's only by 3 bullets, so it's really not a compromise. So I just went ahead and went with high caliber rounds just because the shots from the weapon knock the target back farther, and it also slightly increases range, which on this weapon's stats it's kind of low, so I wanted the extra range. Then the last perk is Dragonfly. Now Dragonfly really isn't that great, to be totally honest with you, in the Crucible. Mainly because of the fact that since it is a 4v4, you're not really seeing people bunch up specifically, and then also the time to kill is quite long, so once you actually are able to shoot someone in the head and blow them up, the other people are either A, running away, or B, trying to flank you, or B, pushing you, and they're not in the same spot. Basically, if they're in the same spot though, they're probably both shooting at you, and that really doesn't help either, because you're probably going to die before you even get one killed. So Dragonfly really isn't that great in the Crucible. I mean, it's cool because you watch people explode, and it's nice. It's nice to see a headshot turn into an explosion. But the explosions really aren't that deadly, nor are they crazy big to get a radius of things. So, I mean, someone could be literally like 7 meters away from him, or maybe even 5 meters away from them, and not get any damage to them because it's not that big in the Crucible. In PvE, Dragonfly is quite good. It explodes everywhere. It's nice now. PvP, though, it just still does not do what I need it to do. I need an explosion that is like Graviton Lance for Dragonfly. I really need that kind of explosion, because otherwise Dragonfly just really isn't doing it in the Crucible. So for perks, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6. It's low because a high caliber does bring it up to, you know, 5, but Dragonfly just really doesn't do anything. It doesn't do a whole lot, I should say. It's not really super helpful, mainly because it just, the situation where you have to have someone next to someone and blow them up is just, it's really uncommon to happen, so it's really not easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and give perks a 6. Moving on to the ranges. Long range first. For long range, I did think that this weapon was quite good, actually. I don't know why the stats so low for it, but it did quite well from long range. I did quite well. I mean, it shoots super fast, so you're able to get a lot of bullets off quite quickly, and it's pretty accurate, so it's not really going to deviate from the path with the recoil and everything like that, so it does shoot quite well in terms of across the map. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8.5 for long range, just because it was fun. It was fun to use from long range. Now moving on to short range. I also thought this was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. It's a scout rifle, so obviously it's not meant for those super close range battles, but because of the rate of fire that it does shoot quite quickly, it was easier to whip on someone up close if I wasn't, you know, expecting them or anything like that. It was easier to actually hit shots and hit quite a few before I was able to get destroyed or I destroyed him. So up close it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't super great. So I'm going to go ahead and give short range a 7 because, like I said, it's not great, but it gets the job done. Moving on to effectiveness, you know, we have to do some math, some calculations. So I calculated my kills and assists, and I got 265 of those. And then I also calculated my deaths. 143 deaths. That KD came out to be a 1.63, so it's not super great KD. I didn't do that well with the weapon. I mean, I had fun. The time went by, but I just didn't do, I guess, that great. But if you add the kills and assists and deaths up, you get 408. So let's take our equation. For kills and assists, we get 265. We're going to divide that by 408, which is our total. And then we're going to multiply that by 100 to get a score of a 6.5. Moving on to overall rating, all we have to do is add up all the numbers we have on the screen and then divide by 4. So our 6 plus our 8.5 plus our 7 plus our 6.5, divide that by 4 and we get 7. So 7 is going to be our overall rating. Then we're going to add them all up, and now we have a final score of a 35 out of 50. And if you've been watching the series, you know that a 35 is quite good. Not super great, but it's pretty good. So now for the ranking process. If you don't know about the ranking process, I take the final score that I just got, and then I rank it against the weapon group, which is the scout rifles for this video, and then I take that score versus all of the other scores of every single weapon I've done so far that is on the list. So, Frostmire's Hex gets 6th in the scout rifles. Obviously you have the Mida multi-tool reigning supreme still, although if I do the recalculation for Graviton Lance, I have a feeling I'm going to dethrone the Mida tool, mainly because the Graviton Lance is the only thing that I see used in the Crucible, and it's the only thing I die to anymore. But, you know, Frostmire's Hex has got some tough competition in there with some of the very heavy-hitting scout rifles. So 6th, you know, it's got a really good score for still being 6th. That's just what I'm saying. Moving on to the entirety of Destiny 2, Frostmire's Hex places 20th. So it's able to get into the top 20, barely. I mean, it's literally on the edge of the top 20, but it is able to get in there, so it does do quite well. I mean, a score with a 35 is very good. I mean, any score above 30 is usable, that is for sure. So, do I want you to use this weapon? Yeah, sure, go ahead and use it. I mean, it's an Iron Banner weapon, so it's specifically made for the Crucible, I think. And so, I mean, it's obviously something you should try out and see if it works for you. But yeah, I would go ahead and use it. The score for 35 is pretty good. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Do a whole lot of weapon reviews and some other crazy videos. So thank you, and I'll see you later.